Gabby Petito never goes outside. Was it sunset? Hello, and good morning. It is really nice and sunny today. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning, but it rained all afternoon yesterday. Oh my God! The 10 is just coming in on me. The wind is so bad. I've just been sitting here like this for a while. So me and Brian just got up and got ready, made the bed in the tent, set up. I think our plan for today is to just hang out here in the tent. Um, Brian's stretching, doing some morning yoga. That's cool.
That worked out well.
Alright, so I'm gonna make some yogurt. Looking to steal some of his granola. All the chocolate melted.
I know. It's a river of chocolate. Be cautious.
You can't keep chocolate in Utah. Not in July. Or in a clear plastic container
Yeah.
that is always in the sun.
I was in the tent this morning, and that's why.
I love the band.
So, we are right outside Capitol Reef right now in a free dispersed camp spot. And we've been lucky so far at all the places we've stayed, but I'd say this is one of the best so far. Since we left New York, I've only set up my hammock once, and now we're all the way in Utah, and luckily enough, I was able to set up my hammock in one of these trees.
And we're kind of like in the desert.
Very few trees.
Welcome, guys. Man, I overfilled my coffee. There's a lot of there's a lot of coffee in here. I have to get it, so I'm gonna spill all over my hands. It's good to see everybody. Yeah. So we're this is another very, very upsetting thing. Gabrielle Petito, 22 years old. She is 5'5", blonde hair, blue eyes, has a tattoo of a triangle with flowers, I believe, right here. And I don't know where the Let It Be is on her right arm, but she has a Let It Be tattoo supposedly on her right arm as well. And there's a lot of information already about this case. This is why I decided to cover it. Because, well, first off, how about that van? Was that van like not beautiful on the inside? Like she really, like I think what they were planning on doing was making money off YouTube and traveling, because there's actually a lot of different YouTube channels that do this. Because the reason why I know this is because for a while there, one of my best buddies, he was obsessed with transforming a school bus into something like this that's livable and then just traveling all over the place. And so what I find interesting about that is, you know, what he would do is he would obsessively watch YouTube videos of people who actually did this. And as you can see by the production of that video, that's their video. As you can see by the production of this video, and you have Brian Laundrie, her boyfriend, in these videos. And it seems like the plan was to just make YouTube videos and travel and enjoy life. And it seems, in theory, it seems like a dream. You know, if you're if you're a couple and you're in love and you just like to camp and you like to do things like that, you could just be like, why do I have to work a 9-to-5 job? I can absolutely sacrifice the luxuries of cable TV and, you know, a kitchen and, you know, just live as modestly as possible. And that just being the price of just traveling and seeing the country and the most beautiful parts of the country, places where there aren't airports to fly you into. You have to drive there. So it's interesting to me. It's interesting to me that this guy, what he does now, he ends up taking off with her. They're on the road. Now, I'm going to basically go over a timeline here, but it's shocking to me that this dude winds up driving home back to Florida. She's from New York. He's from Florida. But they were previously, I believe, living together in Florida before this trip that they took. And this is her van. Okay. Now it's her van, and they end up taking off, and he comes back to Florida without her. And there was a good period of time that her parents did not hear from her. And at one point even said that some of the texts, she's not, her mom, I believe her last name is Schmidt. Her mom ends up trying to text her, but she says she was texting with somebody, but she's not 100% sure she was even texting with her. So for some reason, sorry guys, hold on. This thing that I pulled up, it's just giving me trouble now. Okay. All right. Now, real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the press conference here. Sorry, there's ads, but
Gabby's mom, Nicole Schmidt, held a news conference today. She says the last conversation she had with her daughter was on August 25th.
At least 3 times a week. We would FaceTime, call, text frequently. She kept me updated on this whole trip. I believed the first couple of days when I wasn't getting responses, I believed she was in a place with no service. It was like day 8 and 9 that I really became concerned.
We still don't know where she is. pride isn't an issue right now. You know, my only daughter's missing, you know, and I'm going to do anything I can, you know, the family, Gabby's mom, we're going to do anything we can to find it. And the trip started from there. So went to, you know, some various places, stopped over in Colorado, worked our way up to Utah, was going to go up to Wyoming, and she was going to end in Oregon. You know, she's so beauty in everything. And she's awesome. She really is. She's an amazing, amazing person.
All right, so man, he seems like a no nonsense kind of guy, doesn't he? Can you imagine? It's his only daughter, but he seems to be staying real level. But he also seems to understand that something really shady is going on, because that's her van, and he's going to come back. He's going to come back with her van and without her. So Gabby Petito, 22, Blue Point, Long Island, was last seen on August 24th when she checked out of a Salt Lake City hotel with her partner of 2.5 years, Brian Laundrie. She was reported missing by her family on the evening of September 11th, said police. Mrs. Petito and Mr. Laundrie had been documenting their travel experiences as van lifers across the U.S. on a YouTube channel called Nomadic Static. She would regularly FaceTime her mother, but her mother grew worried when she hadn't heard from her for days and notified the authorities. In a press release, Suffolk County Police Department explained that Gabby's family were last in contact with her at the end of August. According to her mom, Gabby would FaceTime around 3 times a week. Her mom received text messages on the 26th and 27th of August from her daughter's phone, but said that she could not be sure they were from her daughter. She's quoted in saying, "I don't know if it was technically her or not because it was just a text. I didn't verbally speak to her," she said in an interview with CBS News. Prior to the last communication, Mrs. Petito is believed to have been in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Miss Petito's mother, Nicole Schmidt, told Fox News the pair were heading for Yellowstone National Park, but Miss Petito did not arrive. She's quoted in saying, "The first couple of days when I wasn't getting responses, I believe she was in a place with no service. It was like day 8 and 9, and I really became concerned." Miss Smith said Gabrielle Petito was reported missing to the Suffolk County Police Department by her family on September 11th around 6:55 p.m. Mr. Laundrie has since returned to his Florida home without Gabby. Police have recovered the couple's 2012 Ford Transit van. Police in Florida, where the couple had lived previously, said the circumstances of her disappearance appeared odd, quote unquote. Yeah, I'll say so. The Northport Police Department is actively assisting in the case in conjunction with the Suffolk County Police Department, where she was reported missing, said the department in a statement. The Suffolk County Police Department is investigating the disappearance of a Blue Point woman who went missing while traveling. On Tuesday, North Point Police spokesman Josh Taylor told The Independent Mr. Laundrie's parents had refused to allow officers to speak to him and had given them contact information for the family's attorney. Asked if police found anything suspicious in the family's actions, Mr. Taylor said, "There's common sense at play. We don't even have any evidence that a crime has been committed other than concern and things not adding up that would leave you to potentially assuming that." To potentially assume that. He also goes on to say it's possible that something very bad has happened here. She hasn't been seen for weeks, and now he's back here with the vehicle, and we've been told to speak to the family attorney, Mr. Taylor said. Later that day, an attorney for the Laundrie family issued a statement saying they hoped the search for Miss Petito would be successful. Wow. Yeah, you guys are going to love this. So the statement says, "This is an extremely difficult time for both the Petito family and the Laundrie family. I understand that a search has been organized for Miss Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope and that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family. On the advice of counsel, the Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment. Miss Petito's family are leading the search for her. Gabby's mom, Nicole Schmidt, did a news conference on September 13th. As a mom, I had concerns about a daughter going on a road trip in general. Miss Schmidt said, but I felt safe. They had a plan, an itinerary, and we were excited for them. Addressing Gabby directly, her father, Joseph Petito, said, Gabby, we just want you to come home, he urged. Call us. Let us know you're okay. Come home, please. Her father told Newsday that the family was suffering greatly since her disappearance. It's like drowning with your hands tied behind you. You can't describe it. There's nothing you can do. You can't control anything. Pride isn't an issue right now. My only daughter is missing, he said. I'm going to do, the family, Gabby's mom, we're going to do anything that we can to find her. The search for Miss Petito appears to be focusing on the Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, the last place she is believed to have been seen. Mrs. Schmidt's husband and son have posed 2 missing person posters on their Instagram accounts, as well as a picture of Miss Petito to help in the search for her. Both said they were unable to comment any further because there is an active investigation. A GoFundMe page has been set up to help the family with the search and pay for investigators and travel costs. It has so far received contributions of more than $25,000. Her stepfather, James Schmidt, was headed for Long Island to Wyoming on Tuesday to join the search for Miss Petito. The couple had saved their money and quit their jobs to travel across the U.S. Their Instagram accounts documented parts of their trip. With the first post on July 2nd, they posted about Kansas Monument Rocks, Colorado Springs, Great Sand Dunes National Park, Zion National Park, and Bryce National Park in Utah, and Canyonlands National Park. Her Instagram post said, downsizing our life to fit into this itty-bitty van was the best decision we ever made. Mr. Laundrie wrote on Instagram that month. Oh, he wrote that. He also wrote, sacrificing space to wake up in nature every day has been no sacrifice at all. As Caleb said in chat, he's so zen. Miss Petito is described as a white female, approximately 5 feet 5 inches tall and 110 pounds. She has blonde hair and blue eyes and a triangle tattoo on her left arm, 2 finger tattoos, and one on her forearm that reads, "Let it be." She also has a belly button piercing. The detectives are asking those with information, credible information, please, on Petito's disappearance, that they can contact Crime Stoppers anonymously at 1-800-220-TIPS. So this Brian dude, I noticed when I was playing the video earlier, I noticed Caleb making the comment that he's so zen doing his yoga. Like, I know this dude. Now, I'm not saying he's a killer. I'm not saying that. Not yet. All I'm saying is the dude, like, that he was like, oh, she's filming. Let me get into a yoga pose. Just started like, doing whatever yoga looks like. So I this dude to me is super, super, super slimy. I'm not, who lawyers up like that? This is his girlfriend. They saved all their money. They quit their jobs. And they're like, we're young. We got this van. They got the van decked out that you can live out of it, right? They got the van completely decked out and you can live out of it, right? And they had an itinerary and a plan, according to her parents. Her mom, who was apprehensive about her even going, she states that they had an itinerary and a plan, and that's what made her feel safe about it. I mean, when you think about it, they seem in theory, and based on what we know, they seem to have just done everything right when it comes to planning this and being as safe about it as possible. They're documenting everything. They're documenting everything on YouTube. Now, did they document everything on YouTube? I don't know. I'd have to look at the channel. But that's an 8-minute video that I know took some time to edit. And it's honestly, people love that stuff, and they're a really cute couple. So, you know, I that could get them tons of subscribers with just the right production. With the right production and the way that looked, man, it looked really pretty, and they're in beautiful parts of the country, and people want to live vicariously through that, you know. So I could see their channel becoming very successful. So, but this is a crazy situation because he has not. Let's see what Caleb's saying. If he killed her, it was actually smart of him to lawyer up this early. Now he can formulate any defense at trial since he's not locked into previous statements. Exactly, Caleb. Exactly. Now, I'm not saying the guy's stupid. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that usually when somebody has no idea what happened, right? Has no idea what happened, is going to be like, please help me find my girlfriend. He's the other half of this YouTube creation, you know? So, I mean, what was the name of the YouTube channel called? I'm going to look it up. Look, hold on. Nomadic Static. All right, let's look up Nomadic Static. It's probably got a shit ton of subscribers now because of. Oh, there's no way to tell. I won't be able to know. Already had a lot of subscribers or what? Like, I would love to know how many subscribers this channel had before she went. And in another interesting fun fact, so I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Ray Hughes. I think he's a fantastic and brilliant true crime creator. And he noticed something. He noticed something very, very interesting. Now, I don't know the name of the case, but you can check out, I believe it's what is it? He has a side channel with a partner. And I only saw this one video. But it's a big deal. What he discovers. And basically on the same day, they happen to be, Gabby and Brian happen to be in a certain town on the same day that a double murder took place. On the same exact day in the same town. Now, there was a bar where this couple was, and they were murdered, but, you know, we don't know where Gabby and Brian were, but they were in the same town. Okay, I don't even know how you pronounce that. But hold on. Now, let me search. What is it? What static? Nomadic Static. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people have been looking this up. Thing came up right away. You know what? It feels like it's not even up. Oh, here it is. It's right here. So she's got 5.2 thousand subs. And there's only the one video up. The video that we just watched. It was put up 3 weeks ago, and it is at 370,000 views. Yes, they had a YouTube channel. I mean, here, I'll show you. I'll show you the channel right now. Moab. Okay. Yeah, and Gray Hughes ended up calling the police department and going, "Are you guys aware of this?" Because I mean, what Gray does is he covers a lot of cases simultaneously. Like, dude's his mind, he likes to keep his mind real busy. And it just he put it together. He was like, "Wait a minute." He was like, "You're going to tell me that these two, they were in the same town?" And he said that the phone call was pretty crazy because they were like, "Yeah, we are aware of that, and we are definitely looking into that." And he was like, "I don't know if I believe in coincidences or something to that effect." So Mean Allegedly, yes. So Mean Allegedly is the name of Gray Hughes's channel with his partner. Unfortunately, I don't know her name. I just happened to catch that one video. But they seem to have a great chemistry, and I really hope that their channel does well, because for Gray to put together something like that could have been extremely helpful. Now, obviously, professional law enforcement agents had already put this together, but when something like that happens, that's a test of what a responsible YouTuber does in a way, and he called the police immediately to make them aware of it, because there is a chance that they could have missed something like that. So I think it's pretty great that he caught that and did the right thing and called them immediately and shared this information, and then shared it with us. Oh, Chasing Truth. Yes. Okay. Chasing Truth. Thank you. So yeah. So I thought that was pretty amazing. When I was watching that, I was like, what? That is quite wild. So here, let me show you guys the YouTube channel. This is Gabby and Brian's YouTube channel. I mean, it's just this. I mean, they didn't put a whole lot into it. I mean, I'm sure, like, who knows what's on her phone, what's on his phone. So, they were probably planning on putting together a bunch of content at some point. And then maybe editing and going back over it when they got home. But I mean, I'm curious as to, I'm just curious if their plan. Oh, wait, is this a different video? I don't think so. No. I don't think it is. No, it's the same one. And I mean, it's still like, well, right. I mean, because, like, what if, I mean, if he did something to her? Now, I wonder, now this is just some weird speculation here. But if those two other cases are connected, supposedly, according to Gray, that there was apparently a weird guy lurking around the other two, the couple, and there was apparently they said that there was a weird guy, and if anything happened to them, it was the weird guy, right? And then they end up murdered. So I wonder, I mean, I'm not saying that Brian is guilty of anything. Okay. I'm not saying this one bit, but I am saying that it makes more sense if you are guilty to just shut up and lawyer up, because that's your best chance of getting away with anything. Right. But if you're not guilty, well, then chances are you're usually going to be like, hey, uh, you know, I want to find my girl. I don't know what the hell happened to her. He would have reported her missing somewhere up there. But the fact that he came back alone in her van tells me he knows exactly what happened to her. He knows exactly what happened to her. So, and if he knows exactly what happened to her and he's lawyering up and he's not cooperating with law enforcement, well, guess what? That's a bad look. That looks like you did something. That looks dirty. And it's not, it doesn't make you look concerned with finding her. And that's also really, really bad, because that sends a lot of different signals. If she's alive, well, then you would say that she's alive. You know what I mean? You would show concern, right? But if she's no longer alive and you don't believe her to be alive, well, then what you do is you shut up and you lawyer up if you're smart. So, and apparently, yeah. And KK pointed out earlier that there was also just a couple of weeks, I think it was a couple of weeks before their trip, someone called 911 or called the cops about an incident regarding the two of them. Neither one of them called the police, but somebody else called the police. And so they're looking into what that was all about. But I mean, dude is looking all zen and yoga, man. You know what I mean? Like he's looking like he's all about the, you know, and he could never do anything to hurt anybody. He could never do that, you know? So I find that kind of interesting. But I mean, maybe he is all zen and yoga and maybe he didn't do nothing. Maybe there's some explanation for all this that we're just all missing, right? So, I mean, but what if he's the weird guy? And then what if Gabby saw him do something? Maybe she was a witness to something that he did. I don't know. Or maybe it's just one big misunderstanding. But something definitely happened to her. You know, I mean, the police have not said that they suspect foul play. They are still saying that they find it, that they're acting as though she's just missing and they want to bring her home safely and alive. But this is one of those rare cases where I talk about a missing person, and I don't have a lot of hope that this person is, well, I mean, to say that I don't have hope is wrong. Of course I have hope. What I don't have is so much belief that she is somewhere and waiting to get home. Now, what about a possible runaway scenario, right? Let's explore that for a second. What about she just decided, hey, take the van, I got a new car and I'm disappearing and I got to get away from my family. What if she's got a horrible home life, right? Just total, just hypothetical scenario here. She's got a terrible home life and she goes on this trip, and the two of them, because they love each other so much, they plan on staging her disappearance, and then she takes off, and then this guy, all he does is just lawyer up. His plan, I'm going to go home and I'm going to lawyer up, and that's it. And I'm going to protect and give her a head start of wherever she wants to go, because whatever's going on at home is that bad. Okay. Sounds like something out of a movie, granted, but possible. But if that were the case, why would she, why the elaborate plan? Why the YouTube channel? Right? Does that sound like something that somebody planned on disappearing would do? Is start a YouTube channel and see about building some sort of. I mean, it seems straight up like they were planning on going as far with this as they could. I mean, would she go through these lengths to make herself seem missing? Would she text? Would she FaceTime 3 times a week with her mom if she was so upset and so unhappy with her family life that she would just take off and disappear? I don't think anybody here feels that way. I mean, maybe. Let's say that makes sense. I mean, okay. But either way, if that's the case, even if that's the case, Brian, Big Bry over there, he knows exactly what happened. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you slice it. This guy cannot deny at this point that he knows what happened to Gabby. Hold on, I got to refresh real quick. Okay. Well, yeah, because what I'm getting, I mean, this is interesting because what about, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like that, there's no, yeah. So I'm bringing this up so I can shut it down, is all I'm doing. The runaway, I just decided to disappear kind of thing. And remember, that happened last year. There was a case that we were talking about. It was like this, and the girl just ended up taking off. She didn't want to be at home no more. She ended up taking off, even though she was of age. She could have done it, but for some reason, and then remember, she left her keys and her cell phone in the car. It looked real bad. And I can't even remember her name because I was like, because she didn't get killed. She didn't get kidnapped. Nothing. She decided to take off. And then the cops were like, yeah, okay, well, we found her, but she doesn't want to be found, so that's it. Well, I mean, this guy's no Chris Watts. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's kind of Chris Watts. Why'd he bring the van back? You know what I mean? Like, that's just a dumb move. Why'd you bring the van back? That's a dumb move. Why'd you bring the van back? Yeah, I mean, that's real easy. Because why didn't he do that? Exactly, Caleb. Why wouldn't he concoct a story saying that she fell off a cliff taking a selfie or something? What if that's what happened? What if that's what happened? What if that's what happened and they're going to investigate him to see if he pushed her? Right? So what if she accidentally fell off a cliff? Right? Hear me out. What if she accidentally fell off of a cliff and then dude freaked out, called his dad or his mom and was like, Gabby just fell off a cliff. She's dead. What do I do? Okay, well, get in the van, drive home, right? And we'll contact an attorney. Don't say anything. Let them investigate. But if that was the case, why is he being uncooperative with the police? Why is he just not talking at all? Why hasn't he just sat down with an interview, explained his story with his attorney present and saying, and with his attorney going, you don't have to answer that. Don't answer that. I mean, why not? If it was an accident and you've retained counsel What counsel would tell you don't tell them anything ever? Just shut up. I mean, Bianca Zombie, I'm a big fan of that term, and I think you might be right. I think Occam's razor probably applies here. Right. Way too many red flags. I mean, lawyered up is lawyered up. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I'm innocent and I have the means to retain counsel, I'm going to do that. But if I'm innocent, I'm also going to, I don't think, once I talk to my attorney, there's a 90% chance my attorney's going to go, okay, well, we need to tell the police what we know. I'll be there every step of the way. If this is what happened, then that's what happened, but it just doesn't smell like an accident here. Occam's razor is the theory that the most simplest solution is usually the correct one. That's what Occam's razor is. But it makes sense, right? When I say Occam's razor and I say the simplest solution is probably the most correct one, I mean, the one that's right in front of your face, everything, because here we are, I'm going over these possibilities, but I'm also kind of chiseling away why they would work, because they don't, they don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And with what we're seeing right now is not consistent with what would be consistent with an accident. Because the first thing that this person would do is he would call his dad if his dad said it was an accident, unless his parents are just jerks. But his parents would probably say, okay, well, we need to call her parents and let her know, and then make arrangements to get her body and take her back and have a proper burial. I mean, guys, this is really funny to me because I'm usually the guy on YouTube that's telling everybody to shut up and chill out and stop jumping to these conclusions. And I'm still saying that to a certain degree, because you have to take into consideration, we don't know all the details of this case. We don't know what all the circumstances are. So, innocent until proven guilty, absolutely. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is everything this guy's showing us is a bad look. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if she's dead. I don't know. None of you do. Nobody does. But this is one of the first times where I'm just like, no, dude. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that you would come back here without her. What was he, 1,000 miles away? Something like that? You'd make that trip all the way back here, not say a word to anybody about nothing. And just without her. And then clam up. After her parents report her missing, you hire a lawyer. I agree with you, Quinny. I absolutely agree with you. I think what he's doing is really, really, no matter what happened to her, this isn't the way to deal with it. This is wrong. He absolutely knows what happened. I agree with you totally, Rachel Hudson. This guy absolutely knows what happened. There's also reports that police officer was seen with I think it was a green envelope leaving there at the door. and they have the van, so I'm sure they're testing the van for everything. Because I just don't see how these people are not looking into this from a perspective of foul play. I just don't see how that's even possible. I mean, obviously everything's on the table, but the idea that, okay, 2,400 miles away from Florida. Wow. So this guy made a trip 2,400 miles. 2,400 miles, dude. I mean, I hate being that guy, but it just doesn't. There's nothing. This is one of those very rare occasions where I'm going to go, yeah. I don't, Usually I'm up here screaming and yelling and telling everybody, as soon as you as soon as you start suspecting the person, then you've automatically given up hope of finding the other person alive. And I get that, and I feel that way, but this is one of those things where your gut just tells you something, and common sense just tells you something, and experience following these cases just tells you something. Okay, Running Tuna says, I knew Gabby from high school. She was the sweetest person. Her and I were really close back in the day. I remember going to her dad's house and doing cartwheels in her backyard. That's a sweet story. Thank you for sharing that. Well, wasn't Brian a high school buddy of hers? Did you know Brian? Because that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that they were high school buddies, that they were high school friends, her and Brian, and then they reconnected, and then started this relationship and planned this trip. Yeah, I wonder about that. I mean, that's a long shot, though. I mean, but is it? You know what I mean? But what is this dude? What's he doing going around killing couples for? You know what I mean? What's his motive for doing that? So we can't just throw that out there and just assume that this guy went around killing some couple, and was acting weird around them and then decided to kill them. We don't know anything about that. Well, I mean, dude, a lot of people, Sam B, you're saying their lifestyle looks extremely dangerous. I mean, I'm sure there's risks. There's obviously risks, but the thing is if you're well prepared, you know what I mean? If you're well prepared, it could be a very enriching trip. I mean, just imagine that. To me, that sounds like heaven. If I'm with a girl that I just love being with, we never argue or anything, and we can't stand to not be close to each other. I can't think of a better way to spend time together than to just take off and just get rid of the luxuries and stick to the necessities and enjoy things and just exercise gratitude for all, for nature. You know what I mean? And each other. It seems like a perfect thing to do. Okay, but did you say that you knew him or not? Okay, here we go. All three of us went to high school together. He was in the grade above us. I knew of Brian, but I never knew him, if you know what I mean. Okay, yeah. You were acquainted. Yeah, I get it. You were acquainted. But you don't believe that he killed her. Okay. And I don't mean that like in a snarky way. I'm saying, okay, I understand. But and I'm not ready to go there yet either. Just to be clear, I'm not ready to be like, yeah, he totally did it, but he knows what happened. He has to know what happened. Everything indicates that he knows what happened. I mean, a lot of people do this. Do something. You know what my brother did? My brother did the same thing. My brother did the same thing, except he did the opposite. Now, they were probably planning on making money off of their YouTube channel. That's probably why they started it. So, and it would be smart because if you look at the content, it's good content. The way that video's edited with the music over it and everything, it's really nice. It's a nice video. You really envy them as a couple. You know what I mean? So it's just a really nice video. Now, yeah, Julie Wicherman, I believe that too. I believe that too. Right. Yeah. What? A publicity stunt? I mean, if it is, but even still, what if, it's got to be exposed at some point. So it's a publicity stunt. And then they end up just as useful on YouTube as dipshit Magoo. You know what I mean? So they pull that shit and then it's just going to be the same result as what happened to him. You know what I mean? They're not going to have, people are going to be like, what the hell is wrong with you people? You know what I mean? Nobody's going to, yeah, the idea of it being some stupid publicity stunt, well, the end result's just not going to come out good for them. So why would they do that? Right. Yeah, I'm just not buying it, man. This guy knows what happened to her. And he's clamming up. Like the police are even, they're being public about telling us that. He is not being cooperative. He hired a lawyer and he's not being cooperative. That's what they have to say about Brian. So, I'm sure that's a theory. But like I said, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. Because it's never going to, they're never going to succeed from that. Yeah, it's her van, and he comes back in her van. He comes back in her van without her, and he won't talk. 2,400 miles. And their trip isn't supposed to be over till October. That's the thing. Just as many people are going to say that it's a hoax as many people are going to say that Brian killed her. And it's just, And why would she do that to her parents? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. See, these are the things that we got to keep in mind, people. You know, like what's funny is he's doing the opposite of what I always make fun of in cases like this, because I'm always just like, why are these people so stupid? Why won't they just shut up and ask for a lawyer? You know what I mean? If they did it, why not just shut up and ask for a lawyer? He's doing exactly what the opposite of what I criticize people in these cases from doing. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not rooting for the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying just that we're dealing with a different breed here. We're dealing with somebody who's actually kind of smart, or at least his parents are. So, yeah, you know, only like I said, if there was a bad relationship with her parents, maybe, but I don't see that. You know, I mean, I don't know. But I mean, you're not FaceTiming 3 times a week with people you don't like. You know what I mean? I don't FaceTime with people I do like. That he was threatened. I don't know about that. That's possible. You know? Yeah, exactly. And Chris Watts too. Now this is interesting. Somebody made a comment. Now Alex Erickson has been talking about this case too. And she was live earlier today talking about this, or she was premiering a video anyway. And it was basically a compilation of TikTok videos about this. And there was somebody who commented and said something to the effect of, there's like, what is it with, you know, all these influencers that end up, you know, in these bad situations. So, you know, you got Chris Watts, or let's go by the victims, Shanann Watts, Alexis Sharkey, now her. It's, you know, what's going on there is the big question. But I mean, the thing is my answer to that is just, there's a lot of people who are social media influencers. You know, it's there's just a lot of it out there now. It's a thing to do, you know. And so I think it's kind of just a coincidence in that sense, but it just doesn't make sense that she would put her family through this, you know, considering how close they're supposed to be. And she seemed very happy. She seemed very well adjusted. She seemed to want for nothing, no matter what the situation was, you know, that she could make the best out of anything, which is probably why. And I was going to say, this is a common thing. People her age, like after they graduate college, like what my brother did. My brother is a physical therapist. And what he ended up doing was he ended up buying a little camper, like a little camper thing. Right. And so what he would do is he would contract himself as an independent contractor in different cities. He'd go to one city, he'd have a contract set up in one city, go there, live out of his little camper. And then while he was fulfilling that contract, he was setting up a contract in another city so that he could just see the country. So he did this for the first few years after college. So right after college, what he ends up doing is he goes to Europe, and he kind of backpacks Europe for a while, a few weeks at least. But yeah, he backpacked Europe, and he did it by himself. And then after he did that, he buys that camper, and then he decides he just wants to travel and see the country. And so the way that he financed himself was by taking a new contract in a new city as a physical therapist. So he used his education and his degree to be able to finance his permanent vacation. So technically he had to work, sure, but you know, he manipulated the situation to where he could live very minimally and still get to see the country. So that's, you know, this isn't uncommon of people this age. And I'm guessing that their plan was to, with the work that they put into this video that they made, the plan was probably to make a lot of videos and kind of use YouTube as a vlog and monetize it. All right, let's hear your theory. Here's my theory. Sadly, I do think that she passed. I think he did not kill her, and Brian was. You keep saying you're saying brain. Brian was scared and knew that the fingers were going to be pointed at him as soon as her death was public. So that's why he hired a lawyer right away. But what messes with my theory is, why won't he just say anything about her? See, that's my point too. You know, if it was an accident, then he would say something. He would at least tell police. You know what I mean? I understand not speaking out publicly. I understand staying off social media. That's exactly what you should do. But what I'm saying is, why is he not cooperating with law enforcement? That makes no sense. Why is he not cooperating with law enforcement for the sake of bringing her family closure? Because either way, that makes him a weasel in my eyes. To me, that's a weasel. Because my whole thing would be, well, I don't care. I have to give this family closure. If my lawyer's going, hey, but it could make you look real bad, I'll be like, well, that's your job, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's your job to make sure that I don't end up, they have to prove that I did something, right? Well, since I didn't do anything, it's going to be pretty hard for them to prove it. So do your job and make sure that they don't try to. You know what I'm saying? But the fact is I'm not going to leave her family hanging by not talking to the police and giving them some answers. I love this girl. He's not doing that. He's just not doing that. Right. Yeah, dude. I would do that in a second. My buddy, he's so obsessed with doing this himself that he keeps talking to me about I should do it. He's like, you know what you could do with your YouTube thing, man? You could do with your YouTube thing, man. You just live out of a van, you know, and you could just go to all the places where these crimes took place and stuff, man. Like, and I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. I can't afford to do that though. You know what I mean? Right. Why didn't he call 911? He knows what happened to her. I don't care what anybody says. He knows what happened to her. And if there's no 911 call, there's nothing. I mean, this all looks bad. So I'm going to be on top of this one, guys. I'm going to be following every development with this. And of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated on the whole Sophie thing as that stuff develops. Hopefully it doesn't develop too much. And I'm going to be talking about any developments regarding Summer Wells that don't involve drama in their family, because I don't do that. And today there was a sentencing hearing for Joe Ray Daniels. And that was interesting to watch. Judge Wolf. Loved the Judge Wolf. I'm loving the Wolf. So that was an interesting thing to watch. And He's a yoga guy. I don't like yoga guys, bro. Yoga girls are great. Yoga dudes, not so much. I'm just kidding. If you're a dude, you do yoga, you do you. Knock yourself out. Man, I'm getting there, Irish fan. Calm down. Soft said beta male, aka weasel. Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep talking about this. Better believe it, because this stinks. Everything about this stinks. He hadn't been sentenced. He didn't get sentenced today, I don't think. I don't think he got sentenced. I think it was just a sentencing hearing where they were hearing from some witnesses and stuff like that. But now both parties in the little Hutch case, James Hutchinson, okay? Both parties involved in that, both of the accused, they've pled guilty. That's why I have not been talking about it. I started to do a live audit. My internet was just crappy and I just gave up on it. But there's, once they're sentenced, I'll go over all of that. But, there's no big drama there at this point anymore as far as the case goes. They did what I wish that every other person that does something this horrible does. Just plead guilty. Just plead guilty. Save the taxpayer some money. Save the rest of the family some grief of having to hear details. Just plead guilty and do your time, and that's it. And one more thing that I got to talk about right now, as we speak, I believe Annie from 10 to Life is squeezing out the newest member of her family. So a big shout out to her and her husband, Jer and Theo, and the new one that's coming. Welcome. We are happy to have you and share our planet with you. So I'm really excited for her and her family today. So she is she is definitely in the hospital, and they are definitely, and she did post a little video, and poor lady, man, poor Annie, she's delivering a baby with food poisoning, and that's got to be just that much worse. But she's a trooper, and she's there in the hospital with her husband and with her sister, and yeah, man. So I'm really excited for her because she's been talking about just everything. God, I can't wait to have this baby. I'm so tired of being pregnant. And I don't blame her, man. I don't blame her. 9 months is a long time, so she must be, just relieved on top of just the excitement of having this new member of her family into the world. So I'm really excited for her and her family. But I'm going to call it, guys. I love you very much. Please take a minute to like and subscribe if you have not already. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.